we need to show that gratitude. Not for necessarily the men that fought here, but of course for the mothers and fathers back home that lost their sons here. Because how ungrateful does our nation start to look if we move on and we forget about those men?
This is a story about our trip to Normandy that we took with our kids and
my parents.
Her parents. There's a lot of appreciation, a lot of gratitude.
And a lot of education.
It was humbling.
Our kids got to learn about a lot of the freedoms we have today because someone else sacrificed their life and fought for them. And that's really, really important. Where would they be? Do you see them any place?
We've just left Paris and we are now on our way to Normandy. We have some special guests with us though. We have Jessica's parents with us. Really excited because we're gonna now sort of see outside of big city RVing. We're gonna go into sort of some more remote areas. So the drive we're doing now is between Paris and Mont Saint-Michel right now. It's about a 4-hour drive with this thing and not going speed limit. It turns into about a 5-hour drive. I have to admit, we are currently overweight because there's no way that adding 2 additional people with their luggage and our full rig full of all of our stuff is not gonna get us over the limit. So we're just gonna take this thing nice and slow, nice and easy, because as always, safety first.
3 hours. Testing if this.
Okay, as in Largo. Are you Avalon and Largo, get buckled in.
We are a party of 6 today.
It's interesting how much bigger this looks on the videos.
Well, you know, it adds 10 pounds to camera.
So it must have 10 feet to a camper.
Right, exactly. So our first stop in Normandy was Mont Saint-Michel, and it's this massive old structure dating from like 800 BC.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
However, it did kind of give me that, it was rainy and dark, and it gave me that Alcatraz feel, like if you got out there on a full moon and all the water came in, there was no way of getting out.
But it's really, really cool.
It was still very cool.
And cold and wet. And we're going to Mont Saint-Michel, and we just left Paris, and we're with Jessica's parents, and we're gonna have a real good time.
Oh my God, please don't use this. Please don't use this.
So this morning we're heading over to Mont Saint-Michel. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's probably one of the largest tourist attractions in all of France. Look
at that.
So this place is super interesting. You see this all behind me, all this water that's not there. I don't know if you can see water that's not there. And then there's the castle right over there, or the Mont Saint-Michel. This area goes up and down with the tides of the water level, and normally you can only get here during certain hours during the day, but they set it up where you can have now they block off the water with the dam so that they make it more accessible for the tourists. You see where I am right now? I am in the middle of the tidal basin here. This is actually, I would be actually about chest deep in water right now if this was normal tide. I don't recommend it because it's like walking in a pit of mud, which I've almost like slipped 3 times getting over here. But this is the way that people got here once upon a time. They'd wait for the low tide, they'd walk across, and they go to Mont Saint-Michel right here. Oh my, oh! I can't get up. This is really, okay, this is so much. Avalon, watch out. Look out, Avalon, don't get too far down, you're gonna slip and fall.
Yeah, my shoes are covered in this stuff.
So after winding through the streets, we made it to the top, which is the main attraction, the Abbey. And with your ticket, you get a tour. We had the coolest tour guide.
The absolute most amazing tour guide. And he asked lots of questions, and he kept us engaged.
He made it so fun for the kids, and he was just making it into a game. And where are we now? And where are we now? And the kids like, where are we? We're in the Abbey.
And the test at the end was really cool.
And then a test at the end. I mean, we have some amazing tour guides as we travel, but this guy in the top 5.
But during the visit, I will make a little test with you. A simple test.
My question is, where are we? On which side of the mountain? In which direction? Which building? Do you remember the name? At which level? 1, 2 or 3? You are not lost, not yet.
So there's this rock, and if you put your left hand on it while saying a wish at the same time, it might come true. But our guide says that he's been doing it like every single time he comes through here, and that nothing has happened so far. So we'll see. I'm gonna try it anyway.
More wishes left now. Okay, I got my wish. Go, go, go.
Do I know what I wish for? I can't tell you.
It's beautiful.
Quick notes of what we learned. Number 1, this place was built sometime before the 10th century, and it
took 1,000 years to build it. 1,000. And someone actually said, really? 1,000? Because we were all like, no way. 1,000 years.
1,000 years. What else? During World War II, this area was occupied. The actual Abbey was occupied by the Germans. However, they did not touch a thing, which was really interesting.
Totally intact. And once a month, this place is completely surrounded by water after a full moon. And if you get in here, you can't get out. So plan on spending the night.
That is the end of our tour of Mount Saint Michel. Now we're going on to the campground. That's next.
Park right here in their driveway.
It's right here. Looks like there's electrical.
You know how Will mentioned his wish from the previous clip? He wished that we could spend the night on a vineyard, and look where we are. A vineyard.
We are in a vineyard.
This is our 4th vineyard since that trip, but who's counting?
We've been frequenting a lot of vineyards this month. But in the campsite, back to Normandy.
Back to Normandy.
In the campsite, we actually had a really cool time. This place was massive. It had so many different events. One was actually too close to us.
Yeah.
But Avalon took a liking to the goats. It was really cute. You hear that? That is the sound that is on the other side of these hedges, which is right by RV and right by where we're spending the week here in Normandy. Camp living has its pluses and minuses. That is definitely not a plus. What do you think about our new neighbors? The drum family.
It's loud. I wish I could pick a different instrument. I'm sorry, I'm not in love with drums. It's like a flute or a piano or a bass or... We're WorldTowning.
I can see 4 baby goats right now. 4. Oh my god, that one's oh my god, they're so cute. Dad, can we get me a baby goat? And it's the cutest thing ever. And it's like this big. Oh my god, I want that big goat.
I don't want to focus too much on this because I know this is not the point of the video, but Will and I had 3 nights. 3
we
nights!
actually had more than that.
Well, 3 in a row, nights alone in the camping car.
Her parents stayed at a trailer that
I don't think it's ever going to happen again.
At the campsite where they rented. They were not next to us, is the point. And the kids wanted to stay with the grandparents.
We didn't want them to, right, Will? No.
We missed them
We missed them a lot.
But we also had a lot of adventure time too. So we actually took advantage of the alone time, which got us recharged for the adventure time.
And we worked. And we worked.
We did.
That's what recharge means, right?
Yeah. It's raining outside.
I'm not even awake yet. I'm gonna turn on the lights.
Turn on the lights. I'll turn on the lights.
No! Don't do that.
Don't hit me in the head.
Don't.
Stop.
Don't turn on the lights.
Alright, we're not turning on lights. We have been alone in this RV for the last 3 nights because the kids have decided that the covered what do they call that? It's a
bed?
Trailer, right? It's like a trailer park trailer?
I don't know, cabin or something. Although they said they're staying here tonight because they missed the RV beds.
What are we doing, Joyce?
Waking up the family for a day of adventure in the rain. It's supposed to clear by noon, so I'm being optimistic, but I think it's always kind of cold and rainy here in Normandy. Wow.
So with the kids sleeping in the in-laws' place and our umbrella going like that, we're gonna go wake them up because
Time to adventure. Doesn't it look like a good day to adventure?
everyone's sleeping way too long in this place. This is all about D-Day history, so we're gonna take advantage as much as possible.
Today's our day off to adventure.
So today is a gloomy day here in Normandy, much like every other day in Normandy. And instead of like being around and watching kids run around on their bikes in the rain, which they really wanted to do, we decided to take a day off and check out the peninsula here, and we're gonna check out some food.
Here we go.
So the town that we stopped in is called Saint Mère Église, and we didn't know that we were going to stop here. We just saw a restaurant that was open and we wanted to get a bite before everything closes by 2 p.m. And what we found out is that this place is the home to one of the largest paratrooper assaults during World War II, during D-Day. There is a huge museum here about the paratrooper, about the airborne assault here, so we're going to stop in here because this day has no plan, no agenda, and we're creating it as we go, which is the best way to spend a day.
Get out, they're dropping hamburgers. That would be weird instead of paratroopers.
Imagine like,
So they have this cool glider here, and it's not a prototype, it's a real one. And yeah, it's pretty cool.
And he currently resides in Portland, Oregon. Wow. What are the wooden things that I need to do?
They help the glider from not getting crashed.
Oh, okay. Does it have an engine in it?
I know.
So what makes this glider really unique is that this was a glider that also transported troops, and it even had like a jeep and stuff inside of it. They did this so that they can land all this great equipment, heavy equipment, into places that the bombers could not drop off. This is really cool, isn't it?
look at the rusty grenade.
That's pretty cool. All right.
Your Lego girl.
So what was once
Get me one of your Lego girls.
a stop just for food turned into a 5-hour U.S. history
Where are they?
D-Day
In
airborne paratrooper museum education. Let's go. Let's roll. Buckle in.
Inexpensive. Is that a candy store?
Yeah. Okay, we're about to make another stop, and this stop's at a chocolate factory, but Avalon's making a reservation for us.
It's a biscuit factory.
It's a biscuit factory.
Does someone want chocolate?
Some biscuits. No more chocolate.
Someone has chocolate on the table.
Biscuit factory. And our adventure is a baking class. We're really excited. Be quiet here.
J'ai des enfants qui parlent très bien. Et donc la confiture de lait. Donc à l'intérieur des cuves, on installe les épices qui sont vendues là-bas sous les...
Margo, what is she making?
She's making caramel.
What kind of candy?
Caramel.
Sinon on fabrique aussi.
Is it gonna be alright?
Yeah.
You're gonna have some?
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna share with me?
No. They're warm.
Okay, the best thing about this tour is the gift shop. There's so many sweets here. Time for lunch.
Largo, we should get these crackers. These are good.
These are better.
No, these are good.
These are better.
These are no, Largo. These are better.
greater.
How about we get them
Largo,
both?
These are better
This
than
has no
yours.
sugar in it.
This
is
has,
better.
let's see. It has flowers, sugar.
Sugar.
It has flour.
You know what this has? This has love. It tastes good. Excellent tour of someone making chocolates. We didn't get to really make anything.
Teaching us how to make caramel.
We learned how to make caramels.
If you ever want a good caramel
looks pretty
recipe,
easy.
Jesse, I have one.
I think you already gave it to me once, Mom. I've made it before, actually. The kids and I made it.
These.
Okay,
These
so
are
on
hard.
to number two.
These are hard though. I like the nice chewy ones.
After they exchange recipes,
I
we're
guess.
gonna go on to number two. And number two is where are we going, Largo? Where's yours? The choir has preached. We're going kayaking.
Largo, I'm gonna knock you out of that water. Daddy and I are gonna be chasing after you with our canoe.
Jess, I think we're bottom heavy.
That's the story of our life, Will. The RV and a kayak, any place. We're out on our kayaking canoe trip. Well, not really trip, for an hour. But next week we're gonna go on these for a week and kayak down a river and spend the night and cook dinner, right, Will?
We're gonna float the RV all the way down.
Lemonade is gonna be like one of those.
We're using our propane stove on the river.
Lemonade's gonna be like one of those duck boats in Boston. Oh, Avalon! I'll get her, Largo. Use your hand if you want. That's it.
And in these fortunate circumstances,
Oh, I'm getting wet.
Jessica has to paddle for me.
Oh.
This is my guide to being a good husband is claim videoing when you have to paddle.
Back with this railing.
You're doing a great job, guys.
You just sit there and film, Will. It's okay, princess. Have you ever been riding a horse on a beach when a clown comes along on a bike and scares your horse? A clown named Will? That happened to me, and my horse took off, boom, galloping.
I couldn't join them on the horseback riding, and I was determined to catch them on film.
And I love that about him, but he scared my horse. Well, I might have scared my
so
horse
bad.
too, because I went, "Hi, Will!" And my horse went, "Poosh."
Okay.
I'm already scared to death of horses. That sent me over the edge.
Oh my gosh, it was so much fun.
But he didn't have his camera on for that part. Sorry.
It was fun. So I am now on Avalon's bike, riding on the beach like a lunatic, trying to get close to them. That's them over there. I hope that I don't sink into the sand. Getting close, getting close. No, I see them. I see them. They're not that far away. And I yelled for them. I go, "Hey!" And the horses just ran away. Stop! But I can't yell because the horse still started running. Nice and easy, slow and gentle. They don't seem to be slowing down. I don't think they miss me that much. Coming, coming to get you. I tried to catch you guys on video.
My last time on a horse.
What happened?
Did you see that? Did you see that?
Yeah, I almost caught up to you guys.
Did you see what my horse did?
Yeah, it started going fast.
Did you see how fast for how long?
Not that long.
You weren't on the horse. That's not funny. I'm so scared right now. I'm never getting on a horse again.
No.
I've been fighting my fears. I was so scared. Don't worry. Oh my god.
I'm sorry, Mom. That was so much fun.
I'm glad you had a good time. I'm already scared of horses. Maybe the baby goats will make me happy.
Look, there's a baby goat right there. There's 2 baby goats right there. Hi, baby goats.
The way we educate our children is called world schooling, and it's basically homeschooling with a global approach to education.
The world's a classroom, essentially.
And the best way to learn about history, at least in my opinion, is on the ground that someplace actually took place.
Now, this tour that we went on to Normandy, this trip to Normandy, was all focused on this one tour that we had planned. This tour today that was all about the D-Day assault, and it did not fail.
It was amazing.
So who do we have here? Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Very, very good. Very good.
I'm Jessica.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Avalon, okay. But of course, things on D-Day, there's a huge plan when it comes to the operation, and you're going to find today that not everything quite went to plan. So what we've got, first of all, is a map of Normandy. Like I said, all we're going to be able to do today, really, realistically, is try to fit in what is 1/2 of the invasion. Of course, we're going to fit in your nation's half, the American sector. The 75 Germans are going to lay down fire. And so they hit the beach at low tide, where that water's edge is today. The boats hit the beach, the ramps lower.
Where was the
So the thought and the vision of walking along here and imagining the battle that happened here. It's, you know, I go back to being grateful, and I'll say this all day long today, because today is all about being grateful that people sacrificed their lives so that we can do this, and we can vlog about this, and we can celebrate that, you know, freedom exists for all of us. This is just the first stop. I can't imagine what it's going to be like when we get to the other sites, but it's, you do get that grateful feel. You feel strong. So it is a very cold July 28th and windy 2017, and I can't imagine, number one, landing on here when it's freezing and the water being freezing, and number two, I can't imagine living here. It's freezing here.
It is freezing here, and this is the summer. I guess that's why this real estate's inexpensive.
Anyone looking to buy a house?
Property in France.
Now, we did not get paid to do this, nor did we get this tour for free.
Oh, that would have been nice.
Right? Can you imagine?
We'll come back and do it again.
But we had the absolute best time with this tour, and our historian, our guide,
Was Tom. T-O-M. Don't forget it. He
was spectacular.
awesome. He was able to keep us engaged, ages 9 up through 67, all different personalities.
From the beginning to the absolute end.
Of like 9 hours, wasn't it? We were with him.
I mean, your mother and Largo was both enthralled. It was
Yeah.
amazing.
They survived all of this, they went home, and they lived what was a normal life. Robert Wright died in December 2013. Now, what was his last wishes? What do you think?
Long hours, and then
We're now headed towards the Omaha Beach sector. It's going to take us about 30-40 minutes to get there. This site here is a very important German defensive position. It's known as a long-range coastal gun battery. So we decided the best way to destroy them would be from the air. So we started bombarding this site on the 15th of April 1944. We didn't stop until D-Day. We dropped 10,000 tons of ordnance at this site.
So we're in an area called Pointe du Hoc, and this is an area right by Omaha Beach. We're not too far, and anti-aircraft guns were stationed here, and they bombed the living heck out of this place for like 2-3 months, something sick like that. If you look around here, it's nothing but just big bomb craters all over the place.
huge bomb craters. I mean,
It's scary to think that if you're stationed here as a German, that sort of all you're being is just shelled day in and day out.
really kind of eerie and creepy and sad and everything else. But if you didn't know this, you would just think this was just odd terrain.
Yeah,
Kids are playing in
looks
it.
like aliens landed here or something like that. If you don't yet know the meaning of gratitude, go to the American Cemetery in Normandy and take a long walk and think about all those bodies that are laid to rest there and why they're laid to rest there.
You're making me cry. I'm not laughing. It was such an emotional moment, and it's really, really important to think about. First of all, thank you, any World War II veterans that are still with us and their families. So many lives were lost.
It was amazing. It was
to fight for freedoms we have today that we take for granted.
You sit there and
You know, I mean,
you don't know if you had a bone in your body that was selfish, it just goes away.
there's so many lessons in learning about history and being cognizant of not repeating it for those who fought so hard for what we have today.
We are, once again and always, grateful for what we have and what we've seen and for what all those men and women did for us on D-Day.
Absolutely.
And World War II.
Yeah.
Okay, so the day is continuing and we're entering into the final phase of the tour, which is the American Cemetery.
So what we're going to do in a moment is we're going to go and explore the cemetery, and what you're doing here today is you've travelled, of course, halfway across the world to actually travel Europe. So did these guys, didn't they? They came here to liberate this continent. And you know, isn't it sad to think they only got as far as the Normandy campaign? You know, and the amazing thing is people say, you met an Omaha Beach survivor? And I'm thinking, yeah, I did. And it's not until I go home and think about that and I realised that actually, isn't it amazing that I met an Omaha Beach survivor? Because surviving Omaha wasn't the worst bit. He then had an entire war to survive following that.
People who designed it thought of everything to try and make the people who are ultimately laid to rest here feel at home. One of the things that they did, which was super interesting, is that all the trees and all the plants and shrubbery and everything else is actually imported from the US. So this is all US variations of trees. So it's meant to give everyone who's here and visiting here, who's ultimately making this place their home, feel like home, which I think is a really cool touch.
So it is. Each man here, of course, has a story, has a tale to tell.
It's an amazing sight, and I don't know if you can truly capture what this place is all about without coming here. There's so much to learn, and there's so much to let you know about, but this is only so much that we can put onto this video, because otherwise it'd just become a documentary. If you get the chance to check this place out, I highly recommend it. There's nothing better than coming in here with a full couple days so you can truly immerse yourself in the experience and just feel, once again, grateful.
It was an absolute pleasure. It was.
Well, you guys
Thank
were
you.
wonderful. You were absolutely wonderful.
I really hope you've enjoyed. You've done so well to pay attention all day. But you also kind of did my job for me, didn't you? You've done, when you apply for a job, when you turn sort of 18, come back out here, get you a visa, and you can drive one of these.
What do you think, Largo?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Maybe.
So that's the end of our Normandy trip, guys. But I don't think that's the end of Normandy for us.
You were looking at houses there, and you can get a good deal if
A
you look
really
hard enough.
good deal.
But your parents were amazing as
They
well.
were. My dad got in a car accident just, I think, under
like
2
10
weeks
days beforehand.
before they came, and he still came on troopers
Flying all the way from the US.
Maine in the United States.
Trooper.
He really loves those grandkids.
Look how much you grew just since I saw you last. I think you were like here, and now you're like 3 inches shorter than me.
One other.
Thank you for coming.
And you were the second to walk.
This is what I want, Will. Next time. Wow, that's so cool. Wow, that's really cool. Will, we should have done this. We don't need the camping car.
And all of our stuff would fit right there in that thing.